The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, 90 days of boxing, day number 76. The 90 days of boxing journey continues, and man, we're getting closer and closer to that 90th day, and I feel like throughout these last 76 days, I've genuinely grown as a person. It's been very challenging. Like even right now, I had a long day today. I was covering the Richardson Hitchens Gustavo Lemos card out here in Vegas. I went to the press conference today, so I did like 5 interviews. I dropped 4 of them, so go check out the interviews with Richardson Hitchens. That one made a lot of news today. Richardson Hitchens, Eddie Hearn, Diego Pacheco, and Jose Benavidez Senior. A lot of great content today. So definitely working hard. Definitely doing the best I can to give you guys great content. And yeah, man, look, I got a solid hour here, so get your questions in. You guys know how it goes. We're 2 weeks away from being at the 90 day mark, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about just completing this journey and just pivoting into some other things. But gonna finish strong. Gonna finish strong. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Look, there's 5 of you guys here, so if you're watching the live, make sure you smash the like button live. If you're watching the playback, don't be stingy. Hit that like button as well, so that YouTube and the algorithms know that you're rocking with your boy BT, True School Sports, and the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Now, as far as today, right? Got an interesting card this weekend. And I've talked about it here and there, but now that we're really close to it, and I've seen the whole card. A lot of good fights. Falling Star, shout out to him. He says, when is the Angelo Leo fight again, BT, and where can I watch it? Um, Angelo fights next Wednesday on ProBox, April 10th, Wednesday night. And it'll be on the ProBox TV YouTube channel. So that's where you can find Angelo. It'll be a good fight. Eduardo Baez, tough, very formidable, and yeah, man, I'm looking forward. Honestly, look, I'm excited. I'm excited about the task at hand. I'm gonna cover this Richard Hitchens fight, Diego Pacheco. I'm gonna enjoy my time here in Vegas, but really and truthfully, I really just want to get to that part. I want to get to that part, or I want to get to that fight. But you can't rush things in life, so that's what it is. Danny Drew says, go for 100. Absolutely not. Hell no. I said 90. I'm gonna stick with 90. When I get to 90, I need some time off, man, because I'm starting to feel it. I'm really starting to feel it. And plus there's other things that I want to get to work on, but I can't get to work on them until this is done. So I said 90. I'm gonna give y'all 90. You know, if I want to do 100, I know I could do it. It doesn't do any good to keep going. Just so we'll give you the 90 and take a couple of days off in the lives, and yeah, man. But look, we're here now. I'm not trying to think too far ahead. That's still 2 weeks away. So listen, man. Get your questions in. Anything box related, I'll be here for like a solid hour or so. So hit that like button. Las Vegas, Leon, what's good, man? Good to see you. It's good as always to see you. Hope all is well with you, Leon. Hope you got some good content today. It was an eventful day for your boy. Richardson Hitchens was a little mad at me, but it was fun. It was fun. I had fun doing the interviews. He's listen. I know he's gonna say what he's got to say. I still think it could be a tough fight for him if he's not careful. This dude Lemus can punch. So he's expected to win. He's expected to go in there and dominate. But if he gets hit, it's boxing. Anybody can be hit and get hurt. So it is what it is, man. But what's good, Leon? Make sure you all go subscribe to Las Vegas Leon, man. He's one of the channels out here in Vegas. I always see him at the fights. Good dude. Definitely loves the sport. So go check his channel out and go run his shit up. I'm not a selfish guy. Not a selfish guy. There's a lot of people in the boxing world, channels, and just in every part of the boxing industry, they get jealous, man. It's like, I don't listen. There's enough room for people to be successful. So go check him out. Go run his shit up. I support anybody who has a channel that's trying to make something of themselves in this boxing game. I commend them because it's very hard. It's very difficult. It's very tough. It's very arduous. He says, you always know how to stir the pot. I do, but today I wasn't really trying to stir the pot. Richardson Hitchens got upset about something that I didn't even say in a video, and he made his own movie up in his head and got mad at me. So he's probably just mad because he's cutting weight. That's probably what it is. Falling Star says, will you buy premier tickets for the NHL finals if the Panthers go to the finals? You also be praying day and night during the knockout. I'm praying now. I'm praying the Panthers go to the Stanley Cup, man. I'm praying they get to the Stanley Cup final. That's what I'm saying. Like that's probably one of the main reasons why I ain't going live every day once the playoffs start, because I want to enjoy the playoffs. Hockey says, I enjoyed your interview with Benavidez Senior and Diego Pacheco. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was good to talk to Senior. Senior. I've talked to Senior before. Benavidez Senior is always very gracious with his time. And Diego Pacheco, we go back some years. Me and Diego go back about 4 years, 4, 5, 6 years. I've always rated Diego Pacheco highly. I still rate him highly. I'm very curious to see what his path to a big fight's gonna be, because Canelo has the 168 in the Cobra Clutch. He has the 168 in the Cobra Clutch. So I mean, I don't think he's gonna get no damn Canelo fight. Canelo's not gonna be around long enough to fight Pacheco. I don't think that's a fight that ever happened. And then as far as Munguia, I mean, maybe Munguia. I think Berlanga's the fight, man. I think the Berlanga fight's the fight that's been talked about the most. They're around the same, he's closer in age to him. It's Puerto Rico versus Mexico. I think that's the fight they got to make, and I think that's the fight ultimately that will wind up getting made, which is Berlanga versus Pacheco. Hopefully tomorrow, at tomorrow's press conference, I see Keith Connolly again, and I can ask him about making that fight happen, as well as Filip Hrgovic and other things, because he's the guy that ultimately makes those kind of decisions. He is the manager of Edgar Berlanga, so he does have the final say-so, the final executive decision, and those kind of things. So, yeah, man. Pollo Ramirez says, Inter Miami lost, ha, ha, ha. Well, I don't really care about Inter Miami like that, so you're not really insulting me. Messi, it is what it is. I don't really care about Inter Miami like that. The only sports team I give half of a singular fuck about is the Florida Panthers. So unless they lose, I ain't really mad about too much, just being honest. I seen all the nice work. How was it talking to Eddie Hearn? It was cool. I mean, I've interviewed Eddie Hearn. I mean, people who are just now following me probably haven't seen me interview Eddie Hearn in a long time or at all. But I was interviewing Eddie Hearn like 7 years ago, like in 2017. I met Eddie Hearn like in 2016. So I mean, Eddie knows who I am. We go back some years, me and Eddie Hearn. But it was great. I really enjoyed the interview. Eddie was gracious with his time, and Eddie answered the questions very diligently and tactfully, and yeah, it was great. I would like, it's live in a world, because in the interview, the main question I had asked him was, could they make a Isaac Pitbull Cruz Subriel Matias fight, which I think is a great question. He said he's obviously open to making that fight happen with Isaac Cruz and Matias. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts there with that, because you got PBC. They may not, or not PBC. PBC has Cruz, but we don't know if he's completely with PBC because he's with Sean Gibbons. So, look, that's a fight that I think needs to get made. We hear Mexico versus Puerto Rico get talked up to no end in boxing, but this is actually a Mexico-Puerto Rico fight where it's unification. It's a Mexico-Puerto Rico fight where it's two guys that have exciting, fan-friendly styles. There was ever a Puerto Rico versus Mexico fight that had to get made, it's that fight. But, obviously, PBC has enough fighters in-house. They have enough guys that they could have and match up with Isaac Cruz regardless. So, yeah, man. What do I think about Shakur's next opponent, Artur Harutunian? He's a good fighter, but, like Robert Garcia said, he's coming off of a loss. So it's like, I would like to see him fight someone that's coming off of a win. But, you could do a lot worse than Artur Harutunian. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's a good fight, and it's a good measuring stick for him, because he was supposed to fight Frank Martin. Frank Martin wound up not fighting him, so he's fighting the guy that Frank Martin beat. So, yeah. Ask Conley, when is AB's next fight, and if she's still with Matchroom. Talking about Alicia Bumgarner? Yeah, I could ask him that, but the main thing I want to ask him is really about Diego Pacheco and Berlanga, because I've been asking everybody about that. I've asked Mark Ferre, Berlanga's coach, about it. Then I asked Senior today about it. So why not ask him about that? And obviously, you guys know I like Philip Hergovich. You know, I'm the president of the Philip Hergovich fan club. You know, so got to ask him about Philip Hergovich. So, do you think Devin Haney will fight Matias in the near future? Um, Define near future. I mean, Matias has to fight Liam Paul, so he has to get past that. And then if he gets past that and Richard Hitchens beats Gustavo Lemos, then you got obviously this with this Lemos fight being an eliminator, Hitchens will become the mandatory, and then it comes down to will Hitchens and Connolly take the fight. Now, we've heard all kinds of things from Hitchens that he doesn't want to fight Matias under the IBF guidelines because they have a 10-pound rehydration clause, and he wouldn't feel as strong as he normally is. And fighting a guy that's as dangerous as Matias is not the best situation for him. He's already went on record and said that many times. But when I interviewed him, I did ask him, I said, look, if you could go another route and get a title where you didn't have to fight with the rehydration clause right away, would you do that? And he said, yes, he would. So if Matias fights, he's fighting Paul. If he fights Paul and he fights Hitchens, he's tied up for the next year at least. So maybe next year, like second and third quarter next year. So we'll see. If like the near future is 2024, no, I don't think he is. But things change all the time in boxing, so we'll see how it goes. Hey, Susem, what's good, champ? Good to see you. Hope all is well. BT, what fights in the past would have been meriting in today's era? I say Oscar versus Vargas is one. I don't want to think too much about that, man. I really don't, because if I start thinking about that, I'll start getting depressed. So the past was the past. It was a different climate of boxing, and we're in an era now which is a lot more business conscious, to say the least. Hergovich is a dirty fighter to me, and he hits behind the head too much and gets away with it. At that point, he's doing it on purpose. I don't think he's dirty. I don't think so. A lot of these guys, they keep ducking at the waist, so where is he supposed to punch? Where on God's green is he supposed to punch, and they keep ducking at the waist? A lot of times, too, a lot of these head shots that people say are behind the head, they're equilibrium shots. So it's like, that's not behind the head. Behind the head is behind the head. Equilibrium is not behind the head. So, well, hey, to each his own. You know, my thing is, I would like to see him get a big fight at some point. So hopefully we can talk to Keith Connolly tomorrow and get to the bottom of it. Because I tried to ask Eddie Hearn about it, and he wasn't trying to really answer the question too much about AJ fighting Hergovich. So, you know, we'll go to the manager. We can't get the answer from the promoter. We'll go to the manager. Ryan or Haney, who do you got for the win? I got Devin Haney winning by disqualification. That's my prediction. Everyone's saying Devin by decision, Devin by knockout. I got Devin Haney by freaking disqualification. I think Ryan Garcia is gonna do all kinds of dirty tactics and these kind of things, and I think he winds up fouling out the fight, and that's his way out the fight, a disqualification. So Devin Haney will win by disqualification. That's the first time I've ever predicted a fighter to win by disqualification. But yeah, that's my prediction. Devin Haney wins by disqualification. BT, okay, I read that already. We need more fighters like Johnny Tapia. I mean, look, man. Johnny Tapia was a special fighter, you know, a guy that had balls down to his ankles. Of course, I would love to have more fighters like Johnny Tapia, but those guys don't always come around too often. So when they do come around, you gotta appreciate them. But we got a guy from his neighborhood around the same area fighting next Wednesday, and Angelo Leo, Albuquerque's very own. So make sure y'all tune in for that. I think Berlanga will wait for Munguia or Canelo before he gets in there with Pacheco, and I think with Keith Connolly being his manager and being a smart manager and being a guy that likes money, that's probably what's gonna happen as well, because Diego Pacheco's even though he's only 22 or 23, tough out. I mean, he could really present some serious problems for Edgar Berlanga. I mean, he can box, he can punch, he's got a chin. He showed that in the Cosetas fight. So, yeah. But I think in a perfect world, that's the fight we get next. That's the fight that Berlanga and Pacheco both get to really validate themselves to the world as top shelf, creme de la creme, upper echelon fighters. Now I want to address this, right? I'm gonna address this, right? And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I ain't really had I'm a little I've had a really agitating day today, so I'm gonna just be extremely blunt. Rob Calico says your Richardson Hitchens explodes me title was flagrant. What was flagrant about it? He was animated. You know, he was going off on me for the first 2 minutes. The adjective I used was he explodes, meaning that um, you know, he was angry. Not angry, but, you know, he was a little frustrated about something I said. He vented to me in a very passionate way. Therefore, he exploded on me. People got to stop. Like, I'm not trying to, like, some of y'all need to get your mind out the gutter. That's a problem with a lot of people. Like, a lot of people, y'all be on that fugazi, gay-ass bullshit. Like, y'all need to chill with that, bro. Like, y'all, all y'all say pause and no Diddy and all this bullshit, and it kind of makes you wonder: do some of y'all like girls, or do some of you like boys? Because that wasn't nowhere in my mind when I said that. So some of y'all need to really like get your mind out the gutter and purify your mind. Because if that's the first thing that came to your mind, it means either you like boys or your mind's in the gutter. And hopefully it's the latter. Hopefully some of you guys out there that are men don't like men. You know, all this stuff about no Diddy. I don't even know what the hell no Diddy means. So y'all have to explain that to me. I swear on my life, man. I saw the comments, and there was some real disrespectful, flagrant stuff I wanted to say. But straight up, sometimes, you know, I gotta let some of y'all just say that bullshit in the comments and just carry on with my day. Because if I was in the comments all day addressing all the bullshit, I'd be here all day. I'd be on YouTube 25/8. BT, you my guy, but why are you wondering if they like men? No, I'm not saying they like men. I'm saying that their responses, their gay ass little responses in the comments, they're the ones making all these gay ass comments. I'm not making gay ass comments. They're making gay ass comments. So I'm just pointing out what I saw in the comments. I'm just doing my job, posting an interview by Richard Hitchens. I said he exploded on me. And you said Paul, and everyone's like, nah, word the mother, son. No, word the mother. I'm from Brooklyn, and I sense some zestiness. And I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. Y'all just have your heads in the gutter, and y'all really just y'all need to really just clean up your minds. Clean your brains out, purify your minds. You know? No Diddy is basically not okay. Well, I ain't saying that because I'm not gonna say that saying because everybody else is saying it and it sounds gay as hell. How about that? I don't follow waves. I don't follow trends. I set trends. How about that? I'm just like, man, you can't do nothing these days. You say anything these days, and everyone's like, pause. Some of y'all really are. Honestly, some of y'all on the low, I think, really are kind of gay. The way y'all respond to things. And mind you, I'm only responding to what was the response in my comment section. I'm only responding to what was in the comment section. I really don't care. Listen, I'm from South Florida. I got a roster of women. I ain't worried about none of this gay ass shit you guys talking about in the comments. Bro, first you said something about Raymond Ford and now Richard Hitchens. You know what's crazy, right? And like, I went back to go see if I really said what he... I went back to really go see if I said what he said that I said. What he was upset about. And all I literally said was that if he can make this fight as boring... If he can make the Gustavo Lemos fight as boring as he made the Zepeda fight, then God bless him. At that point, he should get a title shot. That's literally what I said, word for word. And I said nothing but good. In that same video, I said he's got one of the best jabs in boxing. I said that I'm excited for his fight. So is he getting upset that I'm excited for his fight? Should I be like everybody else and just say he's boring and he's not exciting and he can't punch? And come on, should I do that? Cause I don't know, man. Tomorrow when I see him, I'm gonna have to bring it up to him because I try to be fair to everybody, but and I feel like if we compare what I've said to like, take what I said about Raymond Ford going into the Orbek Komatov fight and compare it to what I said about Richard Hitchens. Raymond Ford was a lot cooler than Richard Hitchens was, and I said way worse about Raymond Ford than Richard Hitchens. So it's like, come on, man. But look, I get it. It's boxing. He's had a tough, long 8-week camp. He's doing a weight cut now, so he's probably hungry. So he's probably just mad. You know, just is what it is, man. It's a sport. But I really do wish, like, it's becoming a bi-weekly thing now in boxing. Like last week when I was in where was I at? When I was in Arizona, you know, Yoko Vai's Coach G, she got all upset because I said Sinisa Estrada was gonna beat Yoko Valle and that I rate her highly. She was all mad about that. This week is Richard Hitchens. Last month it was Raymond Ford. So every week it seems like now there's always somebody that has an issue with what I'm saying. It's like, it's just boxing, guys. It's just a boxing opinion. There's bigger things in life than little old BT's boxing opinion. And I just wish people would stop getting so damn sensitive. You know, there's people that say shit to me all the time. You know how much shit on a daily basis I have to let slide. There are so many people that I want to disrespect, like, really, in the comment section. But you know, there's too many things to do in a day, and my energy is valuable. But like, you just gotta let things go sometimes. Gotta be professional, you know. But listen, man, 21 minutes already passed by. Y'all got me fired up today. Y'all got fired up, BT. I'm a little tired, so I might be a little bit grumpy. But you know, we here talking boxing. It's all love. Like, I don't hate nobody. My life is too good to hate anybody. I just wish that I wish people would stop being so sensitive in boxing. Coach G is a gangster. I like Coach G. You know, shout out to Coach Gloria Alvarado. I mean, even though she was upset with me and for what I said, she's great person. I respect her whole team. You know, Kid Kansas, Alan Garcia, Right Hook Roxy, the whole team, all her fighters. Respect to them, you know. Got a call like you see it, bro. Keep up the good. Yeah, that's what we try to do. I've been trying to do that every year. And I feel like, you know, one thing that I think I have to kind of accept is that, like, you know, now I've been around for some time. And, you know, in my mind, a lot of times, especially when I'm back home in Florida, you know, I don't really think like nobody watches my videos. Like, that's what I really think sometimes. So sometimes it's a good reminder that, hey, BT, people are watching and they are listening. And apparently what I am saying does carry some weight because every week someone's getting their panties in a bunch. So it's just how it goes in boxing. He's a fighter, and he's getting butthurt over a paying fan. That's what I'm saying. A lot of fighters are getting butthurt over paying fans. And then a lot of fighters that get butthurt over the paying fans, they don't want the fans to talk about them. But then when they can't get fights and nobody wants to watch them fight, then they're still upset. So it's a lost cause sometimes. What do I think of Mark Castro? I like Mark Castro, and I like the fact that I think his career it'll bode better for him. His career, I think, will pan out better the longer he can stay at 130. You know, 35, he was all right. He was doing his thing. He was cool. But 130, I think, with him being bigger and stronger there, that's why I think he could actually make some noise, make some waves, and maybe get into title contention and win a world title one day. You know, I like him. Pound for pound, sports entertainment. What's good, champ? Good to see you. Do you think Gustavo Lemos has a chance? I think Hitchens will beat him. I think Hitchens will probably win a decision, but I stand by what I said. If he's not careful, you know, Hitchens is one of these Argentinian fighters. Hitchens is one of these. Lemos is one of these Argentinian fighters with heavy hands. Who's a bit awkward. You know, if he do hit you the wrong way, it could be problematic. But other than the punching power, Hitchens has an advantage in boxing skills, size, all these things. He should outbox him, but they fight the fights for a reason, so we'll see. And regardless of what he says, because he got all mad because I said it'll be a good win for him. It will be a good win for him because if he wins the fight, it's an eliminator. So if he wins the fight, he's a mandatory challenger. So regardless of what he says, it's a good win. We all have feelings, BT, and sometimes words hurt. I get it. And listen, I'm privy to that every single day here on YouTube. You know, people say I've gotten everything from BT quit YouTube, go get a regular job. You know, people say shit to me all the time. You don't know shit about boxing, all kinds of stuff, you know, and I get it. I get it, but it's just like I feel like every day it's not just like a one-off thing. I feel like every day in boxing there is a fighter complaining about something that somebody in the media said about them, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, can men be men? Can we just take it on the chin and go? Every other day I'm hearing on Twitter from a fighter, stay over there on that side. It's just like it's happening, and not just boxing, but it's every sport. It's basketball, it's baseball, it's NFL. The only sport that it really doesn't happen as much in is hockey, which is why I like hockey, because hockey players is different. But you know, other than that, it's something across all sports. BT, just say the truth. Who cares if their feelings get hurt? Like Ford was getting all hurt, even though I gave him praise. Yeah, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm not. I don't really care if their feelings get hurt. Like, I try to be respectful. I'm kind of more so just highlighting the fact that it's just getting agitating that like fighters are becoming hypersensitive these days. It's ridiculous. The Marlins dropped the 0-8. Do you think they can make a push to the playoff? No, absolutely not. I didn't think the Marlins were making the playoffs this year before the year started. I definitely don't think that now. They're a disgrace, and I'm glad they willingly chose to be trash this year after making the playoffs. So all they're doing for me is just freeing up a lot of my free time, my schedule for the summer. All that time that I normally waste to watch the Marlins play. They don't gotta worry this too much about me this year. I'll be chilling, just enjoying life. They freed up a lot of time with me this year. I want Berlanga. I want Berlanga versus Bosnian in New York, and Pacheco versus David Pacheco, and then Berlanga can get positioned for. Yeah, those are all good fights. I mean, those are all. That's Bosnian is the fighter that I think is gonna get one of those guys anyway. So, I like your proposal. I hope these guys can just stay active and stay sharp and keep improving. Hitchens came straight off the bat for you. Classic interview. Yeah, it was cool. He was cool. I mean, even after listen, all that being said, that was only 2 minutes out of what was that, like a 7-minute interview, and then I probably talked to him for like another 10 minutes when the camera was off. He was cool. I like it. He was a cool guy. Overall, he was cool, but still, it's just like, man, I went back to see if I said what he got mad at, and it wasn't even the case. So if you're gonna get mad at me, at least make sure I said what you got mad at. BT, why is Conwell taking a tune-up? I know he's been inactive and just got signed. And any idea on why he was inactive? I forgot. He's not getting younger. I know. In fact, I know exactly why he was inactive. I know the specific reason why he was inactive. It was a management thing with split team management. Split team management and him, from what I was told, they weren't seeing eye to eye on some things, and you know, he didn't have no promoter, so that kind of made things hard as well as far as securing fights. Look, man, this boxing game, I'm gonna tell y'all guys this boxing game is so difficult. It's so hard. It's so arduous. It's such a hard sport to make it in. Forget this level of boxing. You get to the 6th round level. The 6th round level, you got guys that don't want to take fights, and all the boxing fans, right? Always, all the boxing fans and people always got their 2 cents on who a guy is or isn't fighting. But what they never understand is it costs thousands of dollars to build a fighter. So nobody, everyone wants to criticize who the fighter isn't fighting, but they don't want to give them $100 or $1,000 for them to go invest in fighting a better opponent. Fighting better opponents costs money. That's one thing I really wish people could see about boxing. It's like not so much just what happens on TV. I wish people could see like the level of investment you put into these fighters. These fighters go to these club shows, and sometimes the club shows don't even pay the fighters. Fighters gotta pay the opponent. They gotta pay their own. They gotta pay their own spot on the card. These kind of things. They go home with pennies on the dollar just to win a fight that may or may not push their career forward. Nobody sees that shit. Nobody sees none of that shit, man. And it's like, I really wish people would see that part. But nah, they want to criticize who someone is or isn't fighting, And then they say, oh, right? And I'm not trying to disrespect or slide these guys off, so don't take it as that. But they say, oh, Naya, Inoue, and Canelo, they just fight anybody, right? Or Anthony Joshua, they fight anybody. Yeah, it's easier. It's easier for them to fight anybody because they got millions and millions and millions of dollars being pumped into their fucking career. Everything. It's a little bit easier for those guys to fight anybody they want because they have the investment to fight better opponents. But nobody understands that part. And you know, the reason why I'm saying this, guys, the reason why I'm talking like about this specific thing, and I know I'm rambling. It may seem like I'm just talking out of my ass and I'm just like on a tangent right now. But the reason I'm saying this is because I just know so many fighters I know so many fighters who can really fight their ass off. I know fighters that can really, really rumble in this boxing game. But for they don't have the investment behind them. So because they don't have the investment behind them, they don't get a chance to take the right fights at the right time. They gotta take whatever's on the table. And then guess what? People will just look at the record and see that they fought, a guy from West Virginia or wherever, and they don't really get to progress themselves the way they would like, It's really crazy, man, this boxing game. It's the wild, wild west, and I'm starting to really like. I've always known that, but I think I'm really starting to even see it more. And anyway, let me get back to these comments, man, because I'm all over the place. The Nobody 92 says, "Do you really think Hitchens really meant what he said when he said he wants to fight Matias?" Yeah, I do. Like, I think Hitchens will fight Matias, but I also think that the IBF thing is, what he also said about the IBF rehydration clause is true. So, if he does fight Matias, I think it'll be a scenario where he goes like the route of one of the other sanctioning bodies, and then he would have to pick up a title with the other sanctioning bodies, and then maybe if they were to fight and he'd have to go through that rehydration thing, that's kind of the route I see him going to fight Matias. I don't know. I have my doubts. I know he said when I interviewed him, he said he'll see how he feels. I mean, that's what he told me today. He's, I don't know, like that IBF thing. Hitchens is a tall guy. Like Hitchens, I've been around guys at welterweight, and he's got the same frame that's similar to a lot of welterweight fighters I know. He's a tall, good size 140-pounder. So, if this fight's difficult for him, or if the weight cut's difficult for him, I could see him not fighting Matias. Well, I don't know, man. I don't want. We'll see, man. We'll see. Let's just see how he does against Lemos, and we'll see. Shout out to Hyro. He says, Eddie Hearn can't keep the PBC out of his mouth because nobody cares about Richard Hitchens. To be fair, Hyro, when Eddie Hearn was asked questions today by Fight Hype and by me, he was asked those questions. He didn't just come on and start talking about those at PBC. So, Hyro, for 5 seconds, take PBC's Johnson out of your mouth, champ. But shout out to everybody here. Get your comments in. Definitely take the time to subscribe. If you're new, hit the like button. There's 20. Listen, man, why y'all being stingy, man? It's day 76. Don't be stingy. I got 24 of y'all here, but I only got 10 likes. I know we could do better. History says, I wish I did boxing interviews. I would tell Hernoff straight to his face. What would you tell? What would you tell him, man? What would you tell him? Eric Bell, shout out to Eric Bell. Good to see you, Eric. He says, Benavidez, I heard, has moved on from pursuing Canelo, and it's unfortunate because that could be one of the best fights of this generation. Listen, man, some fights just aren't meant to be. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not really bothered about it. We know Canelo don't want to fight. We know that. And Canelo said, he even said it himself again today. He was like, or recently, he was like, yeah, I earn the right to do whatever I want. Nobody's ever satisfied, so I can just go ahead and do what I want. That's his prerogative. That's the culture that the boxing industry and a lot of the mainstream boxing media for years allowed him to foster. Because he's whatever, he could do whatever he wants. Didn't have to fight Demetrius Andre back then. He don't got to fight Dave Benavidez now. It's the same shit. The only difference now is that more people care about Dave Benavidez, but it's the same thing. Who is my favorite fighter? My favorite fighter in boxing? I got a couple of them. But, you know what? Fuck it. Romo Gonzalez. Of all time, it's Romo Gonzalez. Romo Gonzalez is my favorite fighter of all time. Riddick Bowe is another one I like. He's another one of my favorites. Believe it or not, you know, it may not seem like it these days, but Terrence Crawford's still one of my favorite fighters ever. Um, Angelo Leo, you know, he's a favorite of mine. Naya Inoue, he's a favorite of mine. I got a lot of favorites, a lot of fighters I like. Marlon Stalin, Michael Nunn. Um, there's just so many fighters, man. It's hard. If I had to pick one fighter in the world, I would say Romo Gonzalez. Romo Gonzalez, hands down, my favorite fighter ever. He would say, and I quote, "If it weren't for AJ, you'll be promoting the Girl Scouts. Even then, you'll fail at that." Damn. Some choice words. BT, can you give Dominican people what they want and get it Eric Rosas live? Look, man, can you and Johnny stop asking me what I'm doing for lives tomorrow? Like, can y'all just chill? Like, can people stop asking me what I'm doing in June and July and tomorrow and the day after? Like, can I just focus on today? Can BT just get through today? Can I just get through today, man? You know, I'm not trying to be like mean to nobody, but it's just like, man, everybody's always asking about the future. What am I doing in July and June and May and tomorrow and the next day? And it's like, man, today has enough troubles of its own, man. I'm a God-fearing man. You know, like Bible says that, you know, do not worry about tomorrow because today has enough troubles of its own. And that one really makes a lot of sense today. Today has had enough troubles of its own. So I can't worry about tomorrow. I can't worry about tomorrow's live right now. I can't worry about the next day after that. I can't even worry about June or July. All I can worry about is today, day 76 in the 90 Days of Boxing series. What is it? April the 4th. That's all I can worry about. But shout out to everybody here. I appreciate all the comments. If I seem a bit irritable, guys, don't take it personal. It's just been a long day, you know, like with the interviews and the press conference, and then just like other stuff going on. It's just like a lot of stuff going on at once, and it's like I'm proud of myself for even just showing up today, honestly. What made you pick Romo Gonzalez as your favorite fighter of all time? Everything, man. First of all, we'll start with his style. I love his style. I feel like people don't really understand the greatness of his style. You know, to the naked eye, people will say Romo Gonzalez is just a come forward, volume puncher, offensive fighter. But when you really slow it down the tape and really break down what he's doing in that ring, it's like he's doing so much. It's like the masterful pairing that he has, just the pivoting, he's just a master of efficiency. Like, he knows how to beat you up by wasting minimal movement. I like the fact that Romo Gonzalez is probably one of the only like great fighters of this era who you can literally say he's not famous for anything else but boxing. Like, he's not famous because he's some sort of like celebrity. He's not famous because of any of that. It's just he's literally just as famous as he is because that's how great of a fighter he is. I've interviewed him a couple, like 3 or 4 times. They probably been some of my worst interviews, honestly. And he's a great fighter, man. And the thing is too, I just think you know his resumes, like he was in great fights routinely. I felt like when he was at the top of boxing, you know, whether he was pound for pound number 1 or top 5, I felt like he carried the responsibility of being a pound for pound fighter, you know, with such grace and honor and class and dignity, and always give people great fights. And that's just what it is, man. I mean, he's a guy that I love watching fight, man. I can never get tired of watching him fight. Ernst, is your pops going to Japan with you, BT? That's all dependent on him. I want him to come, but he has to go get his passport, so he has to go to Puerto Rico and go take care of some stuff down there to get his passport. So that's out of my hands. If he can come, he comes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I'm not stressing about it, but he needs to take care of what he's got to take care of, and that's what it is. So I would like him to, obviously, but if he doesn't, if he does, then obviously that makes it better. Pam Room says, I thought it would be Caleb Plant or Romo Gonzalez. I like Caleb Plant, but I wouldn't say he's like one of my favorite fighters. I definitely like him, but no, not Caleb Plant. You know, the guys I named the guys are my favorite fighters in boxing. You know, Romo Gonzalez, Riddick Bowe, Terrence Crawford, you know, Michael Nunn, Marlon Starlin, Angelo Leo, Naya Inoue, Sinisa Estrada, Better Biev, um, those kind of fighters. You know, I like those guys. Why do you think Eddie Hearn doesn't have the same shows in the USA? Because the USA is a different. It's a whole different market. The UK is The UK is it's I don't think it's as hard to sell boxing in the UK as it is the USA. Like USA, there's a lot more entertainment options. In the UK, boxing is one of the top sports. And so in the USA, to really captivate the audience, you got to really put on an event. And I think that obviously, I feel like Eddie Hearn's gotten better with that over the years, but he's still trying to get better at that now. So it is what it is. I think De La Hoya would know more than you and just not say the thing he said about I'm misquoting him, blame him, not me. Hearn has nothing to do with Munguia Canelo. Shout out to everybody here, man. Simple. Hearn doesn't have the U.S. Yeah, and that's another thing. Eddie Hearn, when he got here, he couldn't acquire the top U.S. talent. He couldn't get the Terrence Crawfords or like those type of that level of talent. So when he got to the States, he had to overpay the guys like Mikey Garcia, and Demetrius Andrade and these kind of guys. Guys that were good fighters, very good fighters, but they weren't gonna move the needle as far as commercially. So he lost money early on. BT, list the worst promoters in order. The worst promoters, all the worst promoters, I think are small promoters. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you like that. All these promoters that you guys think are bad, like the big ones, like Hearn and De La Hoya and Bob Arum. These guys aren't bad promoters. It's almost impossible for these guys to be bad promoters because they get bankrolled money from the networks. They get bankrolled money from these damn networks. Like, the worst promoters are the ones you guys don't know about. The smaller promoters, because that's where a lot more of the, as the kids would say these days, that's where a lot more of the fuck shit happens in boxing. So, I'm not naming them. I'm not doing that. I don't want to out know promoters because it's getting to that point now where when I say anything here on YouTube, it gets back to somebody, and it's just annoying. It's just getting annoying. Hyrule mentioned Lee Baxter Promotions. Now, I'll tell you this. I remember I interviewed Rick Laser a couple years ago, and he had some not so encouraging things to say about Lee Baxter Promotions. I know a couple fighters that have been offered fights with them, and I've heard what they've been offered, and it wasn't the best. BT Punch is saying that Haney's out in the WBC belt. Is there any truth? That's not what Devin Haney said. Devin Haney literally just came out on Twitter like an hour or two ago and said he's not dropping anything. He wants all the smoke. So Hennis Revolt says Al Heyman isn't even considered a promoter and he's far better than Eddie Hearn. That's how you feel, champ? Tell him how you feel. Vozick beats David Benavidez, in my opinion, and everybody in the world talking about Bivol and Beterbiev. Don't need none of these guys to beat him. Khalil Kaur or Ali Ismailov can do that, right? Ooh, those are some good fighters, man. I like those guys a lot. Ali Ismailov, I actually used to see him train all the time back in South Florida, like 2021 when he was with John David Jackson. He might still be with John David Jackson, but I'm not sure about that. But I got a video here on the channel. If you go in the search bar, type in Ali Ismailov True School Sports. It's the only video I've ever made of him. It's a training video of him from like 3 years ago. Very dangerous fighter. I like him a lot. Khalil Cole, I think, has matured into a very formidable young light heavyweight. I was here when he fought on the Conor Ben, Pete Dobson undercard, and I thought he had the standout performance. Very, very good jab, good frame for the weight. Those could be good fights. I don't think Benavidez will be in any of those fights at all because those are, Ismailov. I'm not sure who the hell he's with, and Khalil Cole is an Eddie Hearn fighter, and Benavidez is with Samson. We know Samson likes to keep things within the PBC because that's who he works with. So that's what it is. Don't think he fights those guys. This has nothing to do with boxing, Hyro. He says, man, it's confirmed Mario Barrios is the father of. God bless him, man. And I'm not. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not here to. I don't want to hate on nobody, man. I feel like this world, man. This world has so many people that don't want to see you do good. It's like, I see it in my own life. I see it with so many people. Like people don't want to see you do good. So look, if that happened, obviously Maya Figueroa was an attractive woman. We'd all love to get her pregnant. But you know what? God bless him. I wish anybody creating a family nothing but the best. Um, honestly, people want to see people do bad, man, and it's like, nah, man, fuck that. I want to see. I want to see people do good. You know. So, shout out to hold on. Shout out to Philippians 4:13. He says, just tapping and thank you. By the way, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you, champ. Thank you so much. He says, just tapping in to show love to the legend. Hope family is well back in the States. We will catch up later. Go Stars. Yeah, shout out to the Stars, man. And thank you, man. I appreciate the kind words. A lot of people like to. Some people like to call me a legend. I'm just a kid from Dania, man. I'm just working hard. I'm just working hard to try to give you guys the best content I can. And I feel like I've done that. I feel like I'm still doing that. I'm getting better day by day. And tomorrow there'll be more content. There will be more interviews. There will be more to see and more to enjoy. And until then, make sure y'all continue to watch the content I already put out, the interviews from today. Hearn only hypes up AJ. Heck, he doesn't even promote Estrada. Hearn just relies on Estrada's name. Talking about for Bam? Yeah. I hear you, man. There were fighters at Krong Gym that were better than Tommy Harris, but they didn't have the right backing. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if this guy had the right backing, but I've heard throughout the years that this guy was just as good, if not better than Tommy Hearns, and that's the guy that almost made him quit boxing. Bernard, it was a fighter named Bernard Superbad Mays. He was a fighter that Tommy Hearns used to spar with all the time back in the 80s. I've heard about him through Stacey McKinley in interviews and other people. I've done videos about him here on YouTube. And really good fighter, but he just got caught up with drugs and alcohol. And like many fighters, became an alcoholic, a drug addict, and his skills eroded quickly and swiftly. But, sometimes you got to ask yourself, how much of that was due to maybe not having the right backing behind them? Because I'll tell you this, man, a lot of fighters, they do want to be champion and they do want to do well, but it's just like you get put in a tough position long enough where you can't get fights. And I've seen it. Like, nobody can tell me nothing. Like, I've seen fighters that can fight not be able to get fights for whatever the case may be. And he just gets to that point where it's like you either A, got to get a regular job, or B, just take whatever's offered to you, and then you lose, and then your market value is low. So it's like the whole boxing business, honestly, it's fucked up, honestly. Like, I'm not trying to curse too much, but like, it's real messed up. Like, this sport, guys, is not what you think it is. It's Steve Kim said it best, man. It's a business dressed up as a sport. It's not about it's not about who's the best. Sometimes it is, but many times it's not. Dan, what did Stacy say about Bernard Mays? Put us on game. He just said that Bernard Mays was a fighter that was just as good as Tommy Hearns and beat him up in the gym and almost made him quit boxing, which is a story that's been confirmed by other historians, other people in boxing. He said Bernard Superbad Mays had the talent and the potential to be the best fighter that ever came out of Krong Gym. Now, if you go on YouTube and you go watch some of his fights, I mean, he looked like a solid fighter, but he doesn't quite look the part of that. So maybe some of the fights that are on YouTube were after he was like already doing drugs or alcohol. Who knows? But he was there. Like, Stacy was there. Stacy was at the Krong Gym. He lived it. So if he was there and he lived it, I'm gonna take his word as the gospel when it comes to that. So yeah. But I look him up, man. He's known as one of the best fighters that didn't really amount to anything, but he had all the talent in the world. Everyone who knew of him or saw him says the same thing. So if the truth is coming in quantity, not everyone can't be lying about Bernard Mays. Ernesto Mercado is at 142. He's a beast. He's fighting tomorrow. I like Ernesto Mercado, and I hope that he again, the theme of this live has been financial backing and having people behind you. I hope he gets some financial backing and people behind him, because he can fight. Howard says, BT, you gotta admit that Samson Lukowicz has an eye for talent better than Eddie Hearn, and he actually cares for his fighters. I like Samson. Samson is a good boxing man, and he goes 100% everything he does. And I think people in boxing can learn a lot from Samson as far as the effort department, because when you deal with people in boxing like promoters and managers and matchmakers and just all kinds of people, all from all different facets of this sport, what you come to find is a lot of people like to half-ass things. They half-ass a lot of things, and he's someone that I don't think he half-asses anything. If he's for his fighters, he's for his fighters. Like, he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing for his fighters. BT, we need Pacheco versus Berlanga, and I would 1,000% agree with you. And that's why tomorrow, my main objective is to find Keith Connolly, ask him about that fight, because that's the fight we need. He's Berlanga's manager. He's there, and he's gonna see Pacheco in person. So we'll see. I love Mercado. Supposedly his dad messes up all the deals he has on the table, and that's why he ain't with the major promoter. Yeah, that's what I hear too. But one thing I learned about boxing is I can't take none of that. Everyone who tells me that, I can't believe them unless I see the information for myself, because the boxing industry hates fathers, because fathers don't let their kids get screwed. They don't let their kids get exploited as easily as, let's say, a regular manager would, because, again, it's their flesh and blood, it's their kids. So I don't know if that's true. That's what I hear, though, So I have to see the information for myself, because I know that's how boxing is. When a fighter don't get screwed, or they can't take advantage of it like other fighters do, like when they can't exploit them like other fighters, then all of a sudden the dad's the problem. The dad is not good, So that's why boxing's always trying to get the dads out the way. He said, not Mark Kriegel. He loves fathers. Well, Mark Kriegel's a reporter. I'm talking about like the matchmakers and the promoters and the guys that make those like executive decisions about what fights are happening and those kind of things, That's what I'm speaking more to that than anything. BT, how come Hearn is such a loser in Europe boxing? Eddie Hearn is not a loser in European boxing. Eddie Hearn took what his dad did and made it bigger. How is that losing? And Billy versus Morrell, I'll go Morrell. That's a good fight. My man JK13 says, BT, I heard Nochinga is fighting Jonathan Gonzalez. You think Ken Shiro's fifth grade looking ass should hurry up and go to 112 and fight the winner? I like how you said that. And I'll tell you this, Ken Shiro doesn't look a fifth grader, but that boy got one of the best right hands in boxing. I think Ken Shiro should fight the winner of that fight, Nochinga Gonzalez, because he's been wanting to fight Jonathan Gonzalez since I was in Japan. And Jonathan Gonzalez has been pulling out of everything. So I hope Nochinga and Jonathan Gonzalez fight. I pray to God Nochinga wins, because I like Nochinga. And then I finally get the fight I always wanted to see, which was Ken Shiro versus Sevenati Nochinga. The Super Bowl of the light flyweight division. That's the fight I've been wanting to see. But shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Man, this hour is damn near flown by. Y'all got me fired up, ranting about, all the injustices in the world of boxing and all kinds of stuff. That's why Hearn is looking at Japan right now. He's looking for a fighter who can cover his failures. But that's not even going well right now, because the Matchroom Japan tournament got canceled. So I don't know exactly who he's gonna find in Japan. But man, I gotta give it to you, and I gotta give it to Hyro. Y'all hate Eddie Hearn. Like, y'all some professional grade A Eddie Hearn haters. Almost to the point where I think Hannes Rivol and Hyro are the same person. Seven Althi is the only guy who doesn't dress poor in that division. and that's why you like him now. But Hyro, you're full of crap, bro. Because when he got knocked out against Adrian Carrillo, you were making fun of him. So I don't want to hear all that bullshit, bro. You on that bullshit, bro. No Chinga was dressing the same way before he got knocked out, and you was still hating back then. So, you want to hate, keep hating, man. He says, "No, we're not the same. It's just that great men think alike." I'm glad you guys could unite for your dislike of Eddie Hearn. But shout out to everybody here. Let me know where you guys watch from. Let me know what city, what state, what continent you guys watch it from. You guys know I'm in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. In the middle of fight week for Hitchens and Lemos, and then I'm gonna be in Florida not too long from now for Angelo Leo, which I'm very excited about. So, where's Johnny at? Johnny had to go home, man. Johnny had to go home and go to work. So it's just I'm solo dolo right now. But shout out to Johnny. You know, y'all do y'all like Johnny? Do y'all like Johnny on these lives? You know, I like having him on here. In every generation, boxing fans missed out on some great fights. For example, Jack Johnson refused to defend against certain other black heavyweight contenders of his era. I mean, Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis didn't fight. I mean, there's fights that don't happen for whatever reason. I heard Hitchens is good but super boring. He's very good at what he does, and if you're not at a certain level, he's not gonna do more than he's got to do. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people would say that. He says yes. We all need Leo on. Yeah, man. I'm gonna interview Angelo here real soon, actually, because I want to interview him before he flies out to Florida. So stay tuned for that interview. That interview will be coming out soon. Why can't boxing host fights in LABT? It's literally the celebrity mecca of the world. Boxing has plenty of events in LA. I feel like boxing has too many events in LA. I feel like boxing needs to come to South Florida. We need more events in South Florida. That's how I feel. But the reason why there's probably not more fights there is because the California taxes are too damn high. They need to lower them damn taxes so the promoters and the managers and the fighters and everybody involved can actually keep the damn money. That's probably what that probably has the most to do with it. Is just the taxes. It's just the same reason why there's not as many fights in New York. High taxes, and in New York City, they have the TV tax. So there's you have the state tax, and then you have an extra a tax just for TV in New York. So taxes, man, money, all the money, man. BT, do you know a childhood friend who is now a pro boxer or had pro boxing fights? A childhood friend? I wouldn't say a childhood friend, but I had friends that I grew up with, like in my adolescent years. I mean, see, like, well, he's dead now. But the only friend I had that I knew as a teenager, was my boy Gabe Chacon. But he's dead now. He died. He died in the summer of 2022. He was the first person I ever sparred with in the ring. He died in the summer of 2022, and on the beach. He went swimming one night, and he got caught on rip current, and he died, and they found him. And that was 2022. We used to spar all the time at Canino's boxing gym. And I used to spar him around the time when Teofimo Lopez, when he was getting ready to fight Teofimo Lopez in the Florida Golden Gloves. So other than him, no, not anybody I can think of. Everyone that I'm cool with now are people that I got cool with throughout the years, like just through my covering boxing. So the guys like Angelo Leo, Eric Lenses Jr., Lorenz Medina. Those are all people I met like when I was already like either a young man or a man, that I got cool with later on. So nobody from childhood I could say except for maybe. Can you guys hear me? Somebody called me. Can you guys hear me? I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. Somebody just called me, so the stream might have cut out. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Okay, I guess I'm good. But yeah, no. Everyone else, like that I'm close with in boxing now, and it's not a lot of fighters, it's not a lot of fighters, but I met them all when I was older. You and Ness are the number one Lorenzo Medina fans. Well, I'm not just a Lorenzo Medina fan. That's my actual like friend. Like Lorenzo Medina, I knew Lorenzo when he was a kid. I knew Lorenzo when he was, what is he? Lorenzo's like 19 now. I knew Lorenzo when he was a 15-year-old, 14-year-old fat ass kid at the Davy Powell. You know, when he was a mediocre amateur, I knew him. And I knew his brother Lazaro Medina, who hasn't even turned pro yet. I knew him even longer than Lorenzo because I met him in 2019 when he was a fat butterball kid. Training at Flacco's gym in Hollywood, Florida. So I know the whole family very well, and love Lorenzo. Lorenzo is one of my best friends in this world, and it's crazy, right? Because I talk to a lot of managers and fighters and people, and everyone always has something negative to say about Lorenzo. They always say he's too small. They say he won't really be anything because he's too small, and a lot of people don't like him because they say he talks too much, but he's a confident kid, man, and me being around him, he makes me more confident, and vice versa. I know him seeing me throughout all these years covering boxing, seeing the trials and tribulations that I went through, that maybe some of you guys don't even see. That we both inspire each other to keep going. So that's my guy, man. I love Lorenzo. Tell him to get in shape, man. He's got talent. What do you mean get in shape? He is in shape. You're saying you have no idea how much weight he's lost. Everyone looks at him and says, "Oh, he needs to get in better shape." And it's just like, bro, believe it or not, there are some fighters that no matter how much they work out, they're not gonna have no damn six-pack, and he's one of them guys. I think he's been busting his ass to get in shape. And I thought he was doing a good job of getting in shape. But I'll tell him. I'll relay the message to him. Tell Lorenzo, some dude on YouTube said you need to get your ass in shape, and I agree with him. Look, man, Brian Mendoza acted like he had the belt, and that's why he lost. I didn't hate. I told you, sir, he was a better fighter. No, you're a hater. Honestly, Harold, I don't even want to talk to you. About Brian Mendoza. You've always been a hater. And honestly, the fact that Fundora won, it doesn't just, first of all, that doesn't make Brian, that actually makes Brian Mendoza look better. Like, Brian Mendoza knocked out the unified champion. He did what Tim Tszyu hit Fundora with some of them same shots, and Fundora couldn't go nowhere. And Brian Mendoza didn't lose the Boachuk because Boachuk was better. Brian lost the Boachuk because Brian he's fighting a style with Salas where it just doesn't work. Boxeo con flow isn't gonna work. But you saw in that 11th, 12th round when Brian hit his ass, when he actually committed to punches and actually decided to fight. You saw what was happening to Boachuk. So on that night, Boachuk was a better man, but I don't think Brian's losing fights because Brian is like washed up or he's lost too much from these wars. I think he's losing these fights because he's got tools, but they're not being applied properly. So I like Salas. I don't want to talk down on him, but I would like to see Brian Mendoza eventually get with a trainer that would emphasize him maybe moving a little less and fighting a little more. That's Philip Hergovich that can't get the six-pack. I mean, look, I've seen Philip Hergovich do 500 sit-ups in the gym, No problem. Right? And he don't got no six-pack. Virgil Ortiz. Thank you, Next Gen. Virgil Ortiz. He's not body beautiful. Still beating people up. Still got one of the best power jabs in the business, So muscles don't win fights. Biceps don't win fights. Triceps don't win fights, Skills win fights. Medina was boxing like he was tired and winded versus Joshua Temple. He wasn't tired and he wasn't winded. He was sick that day. I remember him being sick because That week, in fact, that week, me and him went to. I remember I went 2 days before that. I went with him to Walmart because he was trying to get some medicine because I think he had the flu. So he was feeling under the weather. His nose was congested before he even got in the ring. So if he was tired, that's why he looked like that. His nose was congested. Um, he was sick the whole week, sick as a dog the whole week. Didn't mention it in the press conference. Didn't complain. Just went in there, did his thing, and got the knockout. In a tough fight. Looks also don't win fights. Look at Ken. Yeah, look at Ken Shiro. Looks like he could be part of that Korean K-pop band BTS. You know, he look like he look like he should be singing K-pop. But Ken Shiro, if he get that right hand extended on you, that's your ass. Fat wins world titles, John Fury. Yeah, I mean, shit. Sometimes it looks like that. We've already we've already went ahead and past the minute the hour mark, but we'll keep it going. We'll keep it going for like another 5-10 minutes, and then we'll get up on out of here. Harold says BT Oscar Collazo is back. When's he fighting? Oscar Collazo needs. I mean, it's the minimum weight division, so I feel like they won't waste time. I think Oscar Collazo against Jinjiro Shigioka is a good fight that they need to make. Don't waste too much time because sometimes you over marinate these things, and then before you know it, guy loses a fight and the fight ain't what it used to be. National, shout out to my guy out there in the UK, my longtime viewer. Good to see you, Nathan. I'm always pleased to see you in the chat. He says, hello from the UK. Always great to see listening to your input, brother. Thank you so much, Nathan, and I hope all is well with you. Shout out to Nathan out there in the UK, and shout out to all my lovely and loyal UK viewers, man. I've got a lot of love and appreciation for the UK viewers. I still want to go to the UK, man. I gotta go back, and I gotta go there for a big fight and really get a really proper experience. Does Usyk have the potential to be your number one if he beats Fury with bad intentions? Yeah, for sure. Because then at that point he would literally be the Evander Holyfield of our era. He'd be the undisputed cruiserweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champion. The only guy that I can think of that's ever done that is Evander. So he'd have a great claim to the pound for number one throne. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, he went he went undisputed two-weight classes. Crawford went undisputed in two-weight classes. Inouye's gone undisputed in two-weight classes. So how do you decide between those three who's the best? Do you just give Usyk the number one spot because you say it's heavyweight? Because I was talking to I was actually having a conversation with Philip Hergovich recently about this, and that he said, look, he said those guys are midgets, they're smaller. This is heavyweight, so it's different. To go from cruiser to heavy is just different. So what do y'all think? That was his take on it. BT, will Crusher Kovalev be back against this 31-year-old undefeated fighter? I doubt it. The one time I saw Kovalev fight at cruiserweight against Tervel Pulev a couple years ago, he wasn't the Crusher. I mean, he was good. He saw that world-class jab, but that's literally all he had. And so I would expect something more similar to that than the Crusher. The Crusher, that guy's not coming back. But shout out to Sergey Kovalev. He's a big Florida. He goes to a lot of Florida Panthers games because he has a house in Fort Lauderdale. So I know he's a Panthers fan. So shout out to him. I know you don't like being asked, but what you're gonna do? Man, you should go see Kyles versus Broner. If they put it in Miami, I'll be there. I'll definitely be at that fight. That's a fight to cover. That's an event. I don't like how people talk shit about the 105 division. They don't know that the division has been existing for over 100 years and produced many great fighters like Romo Gonzalez, Kazuto Ioka, Ricardo Lopez. Yeah, people just do that because people say, "Oh, these guys are midgets." So that's how it is in the world. People always look down on short people. But you know what I say, man? I feel like in this world, short people are the most exceptional people on earth, right? Because when you're tall, And let's just say you know, if you're tall and you look decent, then life goes a bit easy for you. But you know, when you're short, you got to be great at everything. You got to be like a great communicator. You got to have charm. You got to have swag. You got to have that mouthpiece. You got to have everything. You got to have all the qualities to make it. And it's the same thing it's no different in boxing than it is in life. When you're a shorter fighter, you can't just be a kind of a good fighter like you can at heavyweight. And no, you gotta be exceptional to be remembered. You gotta be Roman Gonzalez. You gotta be Michael Carvajal. You gotta be Ricardo Lopez. You gotta be exceptional. So boxing mirrors life. You know, it's like with women, right? If you're a shorter guy like I am, you can't just you're not gonna get girls because your looks and your height and these kind of things. So you gotta be exceptional in all the other areas. You gotta know how to talk. You gotta know how to dress. You gotta know all. You just gotta be exceptional around the board, and that's how it is with boxing too. If the 108 pounds got paid the same as the lightweights and welterweights, they wouldn't have the motivation to be as active. I disagree with you on that one because a lot of those fighters are from Japan, and Japanese culture is just so much different than like here. In Japan, even just like restaurant culture is different. In Japan, they don't even have tips. Like it's not like in Japan you don't tip the waiters and waitresses because their culture is like they take pride and honor in their work, and they don't feel like they should have to be compensated extra for what they're supposed to do. As to where in America, you tip to ensure that they're doing their job and that they're giving you the best service and this, that, and the third. So it's just like I disagree with you. I think if they had the same money as the higher weight classes, yeah, maybe they wouldn't fight as much as they do right now. But I still think you would get bangers. I still think they'd be fighting. The shortest boxing champ was a black guy from South Korea around 4'9". I heard about that guy. I forgot his name, but I remember reading about him a couple years ago. And yeah, to be 4'9" and a world champion, that's unprecedented. That's damn near like being Muggsy Bogues in the NBA, being 5'3" and having a 10+ year basketball career. That's like to me, it's on that level, because that's short. Ryota Murata wasn't because he was rich, because Ryota Murata didn't want no smoke. Which card are you most excited for this weekend? I'm excited for the one I'm covering because I'll be there. Richard Hitchens versus Gustavo Lemos. That card, I'm excited about it because of the Galalia fight, Augustine Galto fight. I think. But guys, look. On that note, I gotta wrap it up. I gotta wrap it up, man. I'm hitting the wall. I gave you guys my hour. I gotta get some rest for tomorrow because tomorrow I gotta go to the press conference. But guys, it's been a pleasure. We definitely he said we need a hold on. We need a Broner cost fund. How much do you need, BT? A fund for what? I want to answer that last question. A fund for what, History? Like a GoFundMe? If it's in Miami, I won't need to. I won't need anything like that. But look. On that note, guys, I'm gonna get up and out of here. I've had a very long day. That's why I'm a bit irritable, and that's why I'm a bit more animated than usual. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Check out all the content. Go check out the interview with Eddie Hearn. Go check out the infamous interview with Richard Hitchens, Jacob Pacheco, Benavidez Senior, and just keep supporting the channel, man. The channel's growing. I'm pleased. I'm happy, and just content. I'm really just content and happy. So take care. God bless. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just giving Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.